Good morning, everybody. I need to let you guys know I'm sorry I just missed Wednesday and a couple other shows in between. Um, Things here have been interesting, to say the least. Um, there have been some health concerns going through the home. Not going to get into too much detail with it here, but a little bit taxing on time and running everywhere and trying to figure out stuff. And um, it's a little bit calmer today. Um, and hopefully we'll have some answers to the stuff going on soon. That's what I can pray for. But for now, I'm grateful that I got a the opening to have one today. So um, hopefully everyone's doing okay out there. Um, if I seem disjointed, it's because I am, and I'm going to let you know now. Um, my mind is every which way. It's not worry or stress. It's just concern for what's going on here. So my brain's a little bit, you know. So bear with me, please. But I still wanted to at least do something with you guys this week before the week was out. Um, Something I was browsing through Facebook the other day, and then browsed through YouTube and came across a video. Now, oddly enough, one of the individuals in the video, um, we kind of addressed before because someone was in the chat saying that how they were going to be on his show, and someone had said that maybe I should try and reach out to have a discussion with this individual, and there's a reason why discussions cannot be had with certain individuals, and this video will show you what I mean. But the other person in this debate, you may know who he is, Andrew Wilson, says he's a Christian. I'm not here to do an evaluation of his faith. But I will say I do see a some of myself in his approach to the individual. I do see that, because he does not have a he don't have an off switch. I don't have an off switch. So I appreciate that part of Andrew Wilson's approach. But I want you to listen specifically to Matt Dillahunty's approach, because he goes first in their opening statement. And then the other guy comes in. Again, y'all might not find it appealing to listen to a debate, but there is something I do want to break down about it. Okay, so listen up.
Thanks so much, James, and thanks, Andrew, for being here, and all of you for showing up. Humanism has as its focus the betterment of humanity in this life, while Christianity has as its focus adherence to a God and the disposition of souls in an afterlife.
Let's pause right there. Of course, anybody who doesn't or is not aware yet, Dillahunty is a atheist. I think he would consider himself a humanist, I guess, something like that, a teacher, that kind of. When I looked at his profile, he has a whole bunch of descriptions of himself, but none of them really make any true sense. And in fact, what I'll do is I want you to I'll read what his thing says. If I can find, I need to find his channel here, because I need to read what his titling at the top of his YouTube channel is. Lecturer, debater. Remember, these people put their titles all over the place, right? He's a debater, magician, gamer, anti-religionist, and more. And more. Okay? Okay, so I want you to have a background of who he says he is, so we can go forward with what he says he is, and then see what he says makes any sense. Okay, so far he says that Christianity is about following a God and afterlife and all that stuff, but humanism is to help people right now in this world. Okay.
Our best efforts in this life are, according to the Bible, like filthy rag. Our best attempts at righteousness and justice are portrayed as vile and disgusting when compared to a bumbling God constantly failing to get his creation to love and respect him, while also prescribing the death penalty for nearly everything.
Now, remember, please take note. Take as many notes as you can. In his world, God is a bumbling idiot. Okay? So just remember, when speaking about the other perspective, it's insultive. Okay? I want y'all just to remember this. He is speaking about the other perspective as not just ludicrous, but a bumbling buffoon. Okay? Listen to the amount of insults he throws out at not just the belief system, but all of it. Okay, good.
Adultery, blasphemy, breaking the Sabbath, disobedient children, witchcraft, worshiping another God, not being a virgin on your wedding night. Which is better for society? Well, I'd say the one that has human society as its focus and isn't so intent on killing humans for not buying into a specific doctrine.
No, but you'd much rather kill humans when you don't want them. You see, he has no problem being pro-abortion. He has no problem killing humans, I should say. He has no problem killing humans when it's, to the benefit of the person that's having the baby. Really, what Matt really wants to say is that he is God. That's what he really wants people to believe, that he is God, and whatever he decides is good for people is good for people. You'll hear him say something further on, and that we'll dive into about the whole against your best interest thing. Okay, so just listen. Okay.
Heaven and hell, if they were to exist, aren't human societies. What a God thinks is unknown and irrelevant. There's never been a secular humanist nation, either in a governmental form, which I'm not advocating for, or in a primary philosophical view of the majority of the population, which means we have to look at the ideals between these two positions. Secular humanism has been around for 90 years. In 1933, the first Secular Humanist Manifesto was published. It identified humanism as a religion with 15 points. It was updated 40 years later in 1973 with a lot more information. And then it was incredibly shortened in 2003. In addition to the manifestos, there are organizations like the Council for Secular Humanism, American Humanists, etc. In the first version of the manifesto, it's presented as a religious view where it acknowledges there's no supernatural guarantee of human value. We advocate a heightened sense of personal life and a cooperative effort to promote social well-being.
Now, in case all of that seemed like ranting, it was. It's all a bunch of superfluous language just to make him sound intelligent, which Matt is not. Being read is not the same as being intelligent. Matt, just by nature of his stance, is an idiot. Matt, by mere nature of how he speaks, is an idiot. Matt, by all metrics, is an idiot. A plain old, simple Mary Jane idiot. He's not intelligent. He does not possess any IQ levels above that of a gnat. He's not a smart individual. You know how I know this? He says heaven and hell is not societal. You know, I have often tried to make myself kind of go down that rabbit hole of how people get to the point that Matt Dillahunty is at. And I guess the kindergartner in me won't allow me to be that stupid. Not even at a kindergarten level, intellectually wise, I can get to that point of being that stupid. But here's the best part. In all of his rambling, he never actually touches on anything factual about Christianity, which is what I really like, is that he doesn't really know anything about Christianity. In fact, his observations about Christianity come from him observing people he doesn't like and already has a predisposition to not liking. So it's not even like he's working from a position of asking genuine questions. He never does. And in fact, you'll find most atheists don't do that either.
The goal of humanism is a free and universal society in which people voluntarily and intelligently cooperate for the common good. In the manifesto version 2, 40 years later, this includes a lot more information, short versions. They begin by saying those who sign this disclaim that they are setting forth a binding credo. This statement reaches for a vision in time that needs direction. We affirm a set of common principles that can serve as a basis for united action. This isn't a to-do list or a thou shalt not list.
While at the same time giving people a thou shalt and thou shalt not, because you call them a certain term. You see what you call this is passive. This is a passive way to tell people thou shalt not. By telling people what you believe is stupid, right? Because I'm going to tell you that. I will have no problem saying, yes, you should believe something. You should. I have no problem telling you that. I do believe there is a definite right and wrong. I have no problem telling you that either. But Matt's perspective is that he doesn't do that, but he really is doing that. But by saying that you follow somebody that's not real, and that is a bumbling God, and his requests are absolutely incredibly too stupid to follow, then you're telling me by proxy I'm also stupid, which by nature tells me I should change my mind, which is in turn telling me I shouldn't be thinking the way I think. So no, you are being in your humanist standpoint, telling me what I should and shouldn't do, while you're trying to brag that you don't do that, but you are.
We're fine with religion's inspiration, but we're opposed to dogma and authoritarian views that place anything above human needs.
Then you are telling me what I should and shouldn't do. Make up your mind, Matt. You see when I told you the man isn't the most intelligent human being out there? Make up your mind. You are, here's what he said. We are fine with religious, but as long as, hold on, you don't want to tell me what to do. That's your words. There's no to-do list. Okay. But I'm fine with you doing religion stuff and using it as a basis, but I refuse to have you do what? Listen. Maybe all the burgers you eat has flooded your brain with mostly fat. I don't know. But whatever it is, you need to get it solved. Make up your mind about what you actually believe, Matt. Make up your mind. Either you want to impose the way you think on somebody or you don't. But don't tell me you're not going to impose it while at the same time telling me, I don't want you to, but you're going to, and don't be doing it if it did.
Religions don't pass the test of scientific evidence. The promises of immortal salvation or eternal damnation are illusory and harmful. Ethics and moral values stem from human experience, and situational ethics stem from the human need and human interest.
So what if a human needs to kill somebody? What if a human is interested in messing with kids? Where is your marker for right and wrong? Better yet, what is your marker for right and wrong, period, without something outside of you dictating right and wrong? Because if right and wrong is only based on what I feel, then we will never agree. I mean, we might find one or two people, maybe 15, that have the exact same ideals about right and wrong. But if we all have different variations of right and wrong, then what makes your version of right and wrong super to mine? What if I would like to see you in 15 different pieces and that would make me happy? What would make that wrong? You might say it's wrong because it's harming others, but I don't see it as harming you. I see it as justifying my desire. What makes it wrong? What if my desire is to see you so unpleasantly happy What if my desire is to make you absolutely in pain? What if my desire is to see you no longer among the living, and I consider it a great deal for you? Whose rights supersedes the other? If it's all about being human and it's all humanistic, then you have to respect each human's perspective, right? Good. What if then I decide as a human that your existence as a human is incompatible with mine? And I get 15 more people than you have that decide my viewpoint is that you die. What makes my viewpoint wrong? What if I see your end as a boon to human existence? What if I see you as a threat to humanity in period, and I just said, okay, I think you should die? Not jail. I think you should die. What then? What mandate are you going to put on me to decide that I'm wrong, but you're right? Or even vice versa? Why should I adopt your way of thinking? See, they don't have an answer for that.
Reason and intelligence are the most effective instruments we possess. We are not advocating for the use of scientific intelligence independent of or in opposition to emotion, for we believe in the cultivation of feeling and love.
You're for the cultivation of feeling and love. What if I would love the feeling of you being dead? You see, it's all these buzzwords that they're a cult of buzzwords. Anything to sound really, really appealing. Anything you want to do, any life you want to live. We're here for all humanity, except for the humanity that wants to follow God. We don't want you to be following God to the point where you try and make God about everything because it's harmful. How is me telling you you'll go to hell harmful? You just decide and hear me out. If hell ain't real, how am I harmful? How is me telling you God is real harmful to you? If God's not real to you, it can't be harmful. If your viewpoint is so easy to understand and so easy to grasp, regardless of my spaghetti monster that you might call him, whatever that is, should be easy to counteract, right? Easy. Because you have fact on your side. You have verifiable proof on your side. Why are you worried about poor old me talking about some imaginary character in the sky? Unless you know it's not fake. And the reason that you don't want us to speak about him is because it is effectual. And you would lose all that you've stood to gain by calling him unreal. Maybe your grift would be over.
Individuals are precious and their dignity is affirmed.
Except for if you believe in God and heaven and hell. Then you're crazy. Then you're crazy. They always have a caveat to their belief to make them the good guy.
This is important. Us, human beings, affirming the value of individuals and human beings is more powerful than a God affirming it, and it's infinitely more powerful than a human claiming a God affirms this, which is all we appear to have.
Meanwhile, you're appearing to be the God of all humans because you want people to believe how you believe with no other resource other than because I feel so. You yourself are a practicing religion. You have your own religion, bro. The same criteria that you think we have, you have twice over. You want to say accept all humanity, then all humanity includes people who believe in God. And they can believe in God anyhow they want, but for some reason, under your humanitarian belief, it has a cutoff point. You can believe in God, but only so far because we say so. Kind of weird.
The third version of the manifesto, in a nutshell, because it's so short: whether God exists or not, we have problems to solve. We have to do this without appeals to the supernatural entities or intervention. We must utilize the best methods at our disposal. Reason and science seem to be the primary ones to assess reality and reach conclusions.
Except you haven't solved anything in 90 years. In fact, for as good as you say humanism is, it has yet to deter, detract, change, avoid any catastrophe yet to date. And there are more atheists and humanists in government than there are believers. So what are you solving? Have you solved anything? Okay, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of atheists that have existed throughout the time that the earth has been around. So what have you guys solved? Just tell me what you've solved. Anything at all. I mean, humans as you're concerned, right? Okay, so what have you humans solved? I'm just waiting for your grandiose reveal of the things you've done for everybody that makes you so great.
Justice, fairness, equality, and autonomy are the primary goals. This life, not a hypothetical afterlife, is what we're trying to improve.
But you're not improving it. And what is equality? What is equality? You tell me, mister, what is equality? What do you consider equal? Let me put it to you like this. If I have a squabble with somebody 6'5", is there any equal way I can solve that in a fight? What's equality? Okay, let's go with equity. Let's say you gave everybody the same starting point. Am I supposed to slow down because you can't run with your tubby behind? If we're in a race, I'm supposed to try and run slower because you can't run? So if I still win the race, does that mean we weren't starting on the equal footing? Is it no longer equality? Even with the advent of equity of giving you it all, what am I supposed to do? Sit on the sidelines and let your jolly fat behind walter into the finish line before I run? No. You can't have equality because we're not all equal. I don't care how much equity you put into it. You cannot quantify effort. And you can't dictate effort. You will never have things equal here. Never. Which is why it's a delusional place to be in, seeking equality. Humanism.
So what happens when religions control societies and governments, either legitimate or illegitimate? Well, conflicts with other societies and other governments may not have any reasoned diplomatic solution. You need only look to Gaza. But that's Islam and Judaism. Here we have Christianity as a primary and Christian nationalism.
Not the same thing, but hey, if you like to conflate away.
Under secular humanism, you get to be a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, gay, straight, socialist, capitalist. You just don't get to impose those necessarily on others.
Let me get this straight. I want to take your. Let me get this right. In his view, in humanism, you can be whatever you want, just can't impose it on anybody. But hear me out. If what you believe requires you to impose it on them, are you really allowing me to be whatever I want? If my religion like Muslims, okay, require me to impose upon you Sharia law. This is a requirement. But under humanism, you tell me I can be whatever I want as long as I don't impose it. Then you're telling me I cannot fully follow my religion, which tells me that you do have a do and don't list in humanism. You have the same boundaries that Christianity and any other religion have. You have the same thing. You just say, oh, it's nice because it's humans. That's an imposition. You putting a caveat to my religious following is a imposition. You are imposing it on me, you dummy. You brain dead buffoon. You're an imposition just by your thought process alone. If you cannot allow me to fully follow my religion while telling me I can, then you're lying. You are lying, not only to yourself, but to everybody else, because you cannot fully follow the religion that I want to follow if you're telling me that it has a point where you will not accept it. And then tell me I can't do it because it does such, and such, but the religion itself requires such, and such. So then what you want to do is create a secondary type or a copy of the religion that fits your religion. That's no different than any other religion now, is it, Matt? In this instance, though, you are the gods. The ones creating all the rules are gods. You're no different. You just think you have the, control. That's the only difference here, is that you have the control over it.
Through acts of fiat. Not necessarily true with the religions in charge of the government. Mike Johnson's the new Speaker of the House in the United States. He's homophobic as all get out.
As we should be. But we're not afraid of gay people, just so you know. Nobody in their right mind's a homophobe. Nobody's afraid of gay people. They might be scary looking, but they're not scary. Some of them may look like it, but they're not scary.
He's argued to criminalize homosexuality.
Where? Where has Mike Johnson ever pushed to criminalize homosexuality? Oh, wait, you must be conflating people that mess with kids. That might be saying more about you than we know. I'll leave that one alone for now, though.
Homosexualities, by the way, are U.S. citizens with specific rights that he wants to take away. Moreover, he advocates for gay conversion therapy, which is unscientific and torturous.
How do you know?
Because he thinks he can help them pray the gay away.
No one thinks that. Nobody, and you've never heard Mike Johnson say pray the gay away. Not a single person, and you've never heard anybody say that. Not a single soul have you heard say that. That's a statement that your people came up with.
And the gay can be eliminated. He's not anti-gay. He just wants them to cease to exist as gay. They get.
Where did he say that?
To keep being human beings.
No, but where did he say that? Prove to me he said that. You know why you can't prove it? Because you're making that up. You are making all of this up because you don't have a leg to stand on. And even if you did have a leg to stand on, you'd be too heavy for the legs that you got.
He thinks there's no right to sodomy. Privacy.
With kids, yes. You see, when you conflate the two, which I know you like to conflate because you're inflated. Here's the thing. You're conflating the banning of sodomy with relation to children with the banning of sodomy all the way around. You can't get your point across any other way, though. You got to vilify the person. This is how you all work.
Laws don't protect everything, and he thinks that what sort of sex you have, it should be his to regulate. Oh. Sodomy, by the way, is anal or oral copulation, which I have it on good authority, heterosexual folks engage in as well.
You wouldn't know because I don't think you've ever engaged in it. But however, However, I will say this. Whenever you've heard Republicans speaking of sodomy and all that stuff, it always links to having it taught to children. They've never said in what, not even the most extreme believing Christian Republican has ever said we are going to ostracize all gay people. Never once has that ever been said. It has always been in the context of pushing it in front of children. But your brain is not at the level of understanding to get that. I understand. I get it. Because if you did actually tell the truth, you'd lose your point. You'd lose your point.
2022, he presented what was called the Don't Say Gay bill, outlawing any discussion of gender identity, sexual orientation, or related subjects, which was incredibly problematic.
Why?
Because he ignored what the experts have to say about age-appropriate content. And
there's the answer. So you want sex to be talked to the kids. You might be a pedophile, bro. You might be a pedophile. If you are trying to... Now, you see when the truth comes out? The truth comes out. You want children to learn about sex. Why? What is... And I was asking my wife this the other day. What is the deal with these people always wanting kids to learn about sex? Like, okay, honestly, what is the push? What is the draw that these people have to always wanting to present children with something sexual in conversation, either about orientation, use of condoms, how to have sex, what type? Why do you always want to put yourself as an adult in the position to speak to children about the only way I can think that you want this to happen is because you're a pedophile, and you want to be able to speak to children about it because you want to make them feel easier about the conversation. Your hope is that the more you talk to kids about it, the less apprehensive they are and the more willing they are to try stuff with you. You guys are sick individuals. You may not want to be called a pedophile, but that's the kind of behavior you are exhibiting, pedophilic behavior. A natural reasoning human being, straight especially, does not want to have a conversation with a child about anything sexual. Most of us think that's uncomfortable. The majority of right-thinking people think, why would you? No. In fact, when you do hear a child speaking like that, it's upsetting. Not to these people. Not to these people. And they always out themselves. He just outed himself.
How critical it is, especially for kids under 10, which was his target, to have correct language.
You hear that? Under 10. Under 10. Under 10. My 9-year-old has to already deal with playground conversations. I remember when I was younger, the older kids would always try to get us to say stupid stuff. Of course, it would get you into trouble with your parents once you got home saying that stupid stuff, not knowing what you're saying. Kids already have to deal with enough. And they already have a hard time working through puberty. Now you're going to not only open up the avenues for them to be exploited by adults who might be into that kind of thing. Now you're telling them you just need to term it correctly. Just wait till you hear the caveat he puts in order to make it pass. Like I say, they always use the most extreme, emotionally driven and volatile conversations to get their way. Listen to this one.
in order to better report on and about sexual abuse.
So they need to know about sexual terms in order to report sexual abuse. Anybody see a problem with at all? No problem here. Oh, okay.
His policy, if it had been implemented, would have made it more traumatic for kids and more difficult for them to out their abusers, and easier for abusers to get away with it. Happily, it failed. In 2015, he blamed abortions and the breakup of the nuclear family for school shootings.
Which it is. It is very much true. But then again, you're not coming from a point of reason. You're coming from a point of emotion. So we can't expect you to make a whole bunch of sense.
He also says the teaching of evolution is to blame for mass shootings because
it is.
We've taught a whole generation, of couple generations now, of Americans that there's no right or wrong, that it's about survival of the fittest. And if you evolve from a primordial slime, what is that life of any sacred value?
Facts. What were there mass school shootings back in the 40s and 50s? No. Were there a mass availability of weaponry? Heck yeah. Kids used to go to school with shotguns in the car. Yet no school shootings. Fast forward to somewhere in the region of the late 60s, early 70s, and they started to decide, oh, religion needs to get out of school. More violence started to take place. By about the 80s, few school shootings starting to pop up. By the 90s, even more school shootings. And between 2000 and 2024, almost one a year. Make that make sense. See, I can make it make sense. The removal of something core to the human existence is what happened. And when that was removed, all hell literally broke free. All hell.
He wants student-led prayer back in school. So, Speaker, are you okay with Islamic prayers, satanic prayers?
No, because you idiot, we're not satanic and we're not Muslim. How stupid are you? No, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, where is your moron meter at? Like you have to, look. At some point you have to call a spade, right? This man's a moron. Did Mike Johnson say he was a Muslim? Would Mike Johnson be advocating for a Muslim prayer? Would he be advocating for a satanic prayer, you dipstick? No, he wouldn't. So why would that even be a question? That'd be like somebody offering you a corn dog versus a stick of broccoli. Every time you would pick the corn dog because you don't like health. What? Why would he be okay with Muslim prayers? Why would he be okay with satanic prayers? He's not pushing for either one of them. Wow.
Or just particular Christian prayer.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Particular Christian prayer. Yes. Duh.
He's opposed to the separation of religion and government, sometimes called the separation of church and state. He thinks that the founders only wanted to protect the church from the state and didn't want to protect the state from the church.
Why would they need to protect the state from the church? The church is not a threat to the state. The state has always been a threat to the church. Kind of like you. You're the state and the church. You're the threat. How is this difficult?
Citing the notorious lying pseudo-historian David Barton to support this view. He definitely seeks to impose his views on others. Now, some of you are saying, hang on, he's the Speaker of the House, he's not the Speaker of Christianity, or that's not my type of Christianity. Great. But what is your type? What's your type of Christianity like? Because there's a lot of them.
No, there's not. There's not a lot of them. There is just Christianity. There are many religions, but there's only one Christianity. People may say they are Christian, but they are not. Kind of like you. There is intelligence, and then there's people like you who say they possess it. But it's pretty obvious you don't possess it. But you still call yourself intelligent, don't you? Yeah. And you want everybody else to consider you intelligent. But you know what? The intelligent people can look at you and say, that's a dummy. And the really intelligent people know that you're a dummy. They know you're not intelligent, but you can keep believing that you are. Christianity. There are tons of people that believe they are, but they're not. When measured against what Christianity is, they don't measure up. So I don't see how this is difficult, but I do get how this is difficult for you.
How is it better? And how can we make sure that we get your better version than the one that Mike Johnson won?
Because it's not for you to decide. You see how that works? It is not for you to decide that. That's a me thing. Remember the whole, you just told us that the humanistic side allows everybody to be, why aren't you allowing me to be what I want to be? Oh, you do have caveats. Again, you have rules, but you said you didn't. Okay.
He thinks his version is correct. So do you. Countless denominations without consensus. He's already got more power than my opponent has right now. So I don't know Andrew at all. I don't know what version of Christianity he's advocating for. I didn't bother to look him up. We literally just met and said hello.
That makes you an idiot. If you're coming to a debate and you don't know what the person espouses, that makes you 3 times as stupid as anyone else in that room. There is dumb, and then there's you. You are the kind of person that would walk willy-nilly into a room and not care if there's a spike on the floor, the door's got a booby trap on it. You wouldn't even check anything before you just walk into a black room. You wouldn't care because you're not spatially aware and you're not cognitive enough to know that you need to prep for a debate. And it will show up here pretty soon that you didn't prep for the debate. One of the key things about going into war is knowing your opponent. You have to know. There's a reason why football, they study tape of the person they're going to play next. They don't just go in thinking, it's just football. I could do football all day long. I don't need to even know what the other team runs. Right? But, sir, they're running I cover zero. I don't care about no cover zero or nothing. I'm just going to run my play. But, sir, their line is ridiculously huge. I don't care. Sir, our linemen are 100 pounds lighter than I don't care. I don't even want to look at that no more. We're just going to play ball. Then you run the team out there, flatten them. You lose the game. I don't know what happened. We did our best to prepare. And the reporters asked, sir, did you know that the other team outweighed you by almost 300-400 pounds? No, I didn't know that. I didn't look into it. Sir, did you know that running on every play was not going to work against a #1 rated run defense? No, I didn't know that neither, but I figured the run game would work. So did you know that their corners are 6'7" and your wide receivers are only 5 foot? No, I didn't know that neither, but hey, did you prep for this game, sir? What game? That's Matt. That's Matt. Matt is that stupid that he walks right into a game, not knowing what to expect, and then act like that's a flex. Matt, is not a flex, bro. That makes you unprepared and absolutely stupid to believe that you would come out of there with a W. The whole point of a debate is going in prepped. Partially with your own information, yes, but you have to know the stance of the other person in order to figure out what your rebuttals are. Because sometimes on the fly doesn't work. First of all, you don't possess the mental magnitude that you need to work on the fly. You don't have that. You're not mentally strong enough. You do not possess the intellect to process something coming at you and figure it out on the fly. You do not possess that, Matt. You need prep time.
As I sat down here, is his version of Christianity better? I really hope so, because it'd be hard to get a whole lot worse.
So, okay, so it's hard to get a whole lot worse, but you believe that Christianity is set in stone? You say that has caused a whole lot of problems? Which one? Which version of Christianity has caused all the problems? Since you seem to know the differences between it, which version of Christianity has caused the most problems? You don't know?
But they point to the same book. They point to the same Savior, the same history.
Yes, we do.
Liberal and moderate Christians provide legitimacy and cover to hide the fundamentalists and to allow them to engage in Christian nationalism.
Oh, we do? Huh. I didn't know we did that. I wonder if you'd have the same energy for people who say they're humanists and think all people should die. There was another guy like that. Who was it? He had a stash. He wasn't a Christian at all. Who was that guy? He had a really very interesting look to his face. And most people won't even cut their facial hair like him anymore. I forget his name. Y'all remember who it is.
Secular humanism allows you to be a Christian right up until you try to oppose it on others, and then you get to keep being a Christian. You just don't get to practice it in the way where you're imposing it on others.
What? Hold on. Hold up. I did not hear. I couldn't have heard what I just heard. There's no way I heard what I just heard. Listen to this again.
Advocating for. I didn't bother to look him up. We literally just met and said hello as I sat down here. Is his version of Christianity better? I really hope so, because it'd be hard to get a whole lot worse. But they point to the same book. They point to the same Savior, the same history. Liberal and moderate Christians provide legitimacy and cover to hide the fundamentalists and to allow them to engage in Christian nationalism. Secular humanism allows you to be a Christian.
Okay, I got that part. It allows you to be Christian, but
right up until you try to oppose it on others, and then you get to keep being a Christian. You just don't get to practice it in the way where you're imposing it on others.
You're allowed to stay a Christian. You just can't. You can't practice it. You can be one, just not practice. You can be a Christian, just not practice it in the way that the Christian side that you're practicing. Okay.
You can.
So in other words, you can't practice it. Okay.
Pray, you can go to church, you can tithe, you can worship, gather, share, discuss, convert, vote based on your values. You can vote against your own best interest.
But you see what I mean? How do you get to decide what my best interest is? That's what I've always been asking. What is my best interest? What meeting did you have, you Teletubby, to decide what my best interest is? Who in hell below authorized you to decide my well-being? How do you know what is my best interest? Did I talk to you? Did I have a family meeting in your zoo enclosure? Did I have that? Did I come to you and say, hey, this is what I believe, and this is what I want for my best interest. Now I'm going to go vote against it.
I see people doing all the time. You can teach your kids your values under secular humanism. The foundational principles of secular humanism solve conflicts with data, debate, and discussion instead of coercion, conversion, or conquest.
But that's exactly what you're doing by telling them you're not going to do this, this, and this. That's cool. I don't think y'all remember Princess Bride. Have y'all remember Princess Bride? And Diego said, hey, I don't think that word means what you think it means. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. Inconceivable, right? That word, I don't think he understands what that word means. That I'm not trying to convince, but you're convincing. I'm not trying to coerce him, but you're coercing. I don't think you understand what those words mean. I don't think those words mean what you think it means. Inconceivable. So I can clearly not pick the glasses in front of you. So obviously you'll put the poison in the glass in front of you. But if I pick the glasses in front of me, that would be obvious. But I am not. I'm a great thinker, and I'll pick the glasses in front of you. Oh, look, what's that over there? Oh, nothing, nothing, nothing. Cheers. That's what this guy is. These people are crazy, man.
There is no secular humanist sect and no denomination of secular humanists that's ever required someone to believe something that is not empirically verifiable.
Really? Okay, I'll remember that.
That's ever ordered the death of another person.
Please remember that too.
That's ever ordered or acted to act or destroy property of any person or government.
Please remember that too.
That has ever overthrown a democracy to impose a secular humanist regime.
Please remember all of this. Please remember all of this. Please. Please, if you do nothing else, please remember everything this man has said. Please remember it. Please. Okay, please.
That's ever been connected with terrorist cells and activities. That's ever denied freedom of speech or expression.
While telling us we cannot express and speak the way we want to speak. Bro, you can't make this up. You can't make this. You can't. There's no way you can make this up. You can't. You can't make this up. Nope. No. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't make it up. You can't. Okay? You can't. This man just said, I'd never do that while doing it. Man.
That's ever called for the deaths of people for criticizing secular humanism or any religious view. That has ever advocated for or inspired suicide bombers or terrorist attacks.
There's no way he's saying this with a straight face. There really is no way he's saying this with a straight face. Literally, can't be.
Those things are simply not consistent in any way with the core values of secular humanism. There is no threat to Christians, Jews, Muslims, Scientologists from secular humanism.
Except the threat of shutting them up when they go against what you believe and how you want things to go. Then they go too far. You're all for everybody do what they want except for when the religion itself is acting like the religion says it's supposed to act. You have your own religion, bro. I don't, maybe I'm going to help you out like this. This is how I'll help you out. What you believe that is not a religion actually is a religion. You are following a religion. You just happen to not have a God that's outside of you. You just happen to be the one that you worship. You have a religion. You're not anti-religion. You have your own religion. You're anti everybody else's religion. But you're part of your own. Just FYI.
There might be from scientific skepticism and rationality if you're not able to actually demonstrate the truth of your claim. But life, freedom, and an equitable relationship are the foundation of secular humanism.
Again, equitable. He will never tell you what that equity is. Never tell you that. Because he has no idea what the equity is he's looking for. What the?
There is no list of thou shalt not or thou shalts.
But you just gave like a whole handful of them, though. What? Oh my goodness, bro. Wow. That's why I couldn't debate these people, man. I wouldn't even, okay, I'm going to tell you this. I wouldn't even need to go to the Bible. That is how stupid they are. I won't even need to go to the Bible to debunk them. I'm just going to use their own logic. I don't even need to talk about my point of view. Heck, I will adopt their mindset about my point of view and still decide, look, I'll use your own words. I will use your own logic and defeat you. I don't even need to use my brain. I don't even use what little brain I got. I don't even need to. I don't have much, but what little I got, I won't even need to execute. Won't even need to.
Because we recognize that nearly every attempt at such a list fails at some point as we learn more about our world and about getting better at understanding the world better, about doing better and being better in this life.
Yes.
The goal of humanism is a free and universal society in which people voluntarily and intelligently cooperate.
So then, whoop. Slow your roll. Let's pause you right there. Voluntarily. Okay, so you tell me I have the choice, right? Listen carefully. Voluntarily in what?
Is a free and universal society in which people voluntarily and intelligently cooperate for the common good.
Okay, now what if I'm a dummy? What if, hear me out, what if I'm slow? Does that mean I can't participate in your society? So you do have a caveat. But it's also not voluntarily, because if I do try to volunteer to participate and I'm not intelligent enough, I don't fit in, do I? So is it really free? No, it's not free. You have a criteria just like God does. You just consider your criteria a much better criteria because it's yours.
If you have an objection to that or a better goal, what is it?
We called it Christianity. Now, in comes your boy here, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you, I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of his. When it comes to his views on women necessarily, I think he has some good foundation to it. But Andrew has a almost it's a half and half mix of worldly and Christian in his approach to women. That's the biggest spot I have of discontentment with him. But what he says here, you'll catch on.
I am the host of the one and only Crucible, the fastest growing debate channel on the internet, James. I just in case you didn't know. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate everybody being here. All of you are way too stodgy in this room. Very low energy. Just wanted to let all of you know that. Ladies and gentlemen of all pronouns, the Z's, the Zers, the hims, and hers, I would like to thank you for tuning in today for this exciting in-person conference on modern day debate. My name is Andrew Wilson.
See, me, I wouldn't address your stupidity. I'm not addressing none of the Z's or none of that crap. It doesn't exist. It's stupid. I'm not going to say, oh, well, I'll say, ladies and gentlemen, if you got a problem with that, suck salt, don't care, not going to feel for you. That's on you. It might be, him being sarcastic, but I wouldn't even be sarcastic. I wouldn't even participate in their foolery.
There's a few ways this debate can go. The topic is Christian ethics versus secular humanism, which has a better foundation. The funny thing is, I already won that topic because, as Matt explained to Jay Dyer, he has no justification under the skeptical belief structure to give an accounting for any meta-ethical presupposition he may have. He just kind of grants himself stuff. He grants himself logic, he grants himself reason, he grants himself an entire worldview, even though he's using an unjustified starting position for it. So I'm not honestly all that interested in doing the God not real dough debate because, one, it's boring, and two, it's also really boring. It goes like this. I don't see enough evidence and remain unconvinced there's a God. Then I say, but you use the theistic worldview of justification like there is a God to grant yourself logic and everything else. So instead of that, I'm just going to grant Matt's entire worldview. 2/3 or more of this entire planet are all operating inside of a shared delusion that they were created by a sky daddy who loves him some slavery and murderousness. He thinks it's funny to kind of cosmically with people. That's his deal. kind of his whole thing. That's Matt's worldview. So now Matt's right, and the question becomes, should we let them to continue to believe in this nonsensical Stone Age madness, or do we stop them from engaging in it?
Now, the disagreement on Matt's face almost looks like, well, that's not what I said, but that is what you said. You said that God was bumbling, right? That's what you said. You said God was bumbling, right? So good. So all he's doing, all that Andrew is doing, is repeating what you believe about God, and you get all of a sudden, oh, no, Matt, don't do that face. That is what you believe. All Andrew did was put in a very succinct little bottle the way you see God, and you went on for a full 5 minutes digging into this crazy person, this bumbling idiot, this person that can't even keep his people in check, and people follow. You ended into a whole soliloquy about God. All Wilson did was reiterate what you thought about God, and all of a sudden now you're making a weird face. Now you're making a weird, don't make a weird face. Don't be upset. These are your words, albeit a little bit colorized, but it's your words.
My contention is, even if God isn't real at all, that people acting as though he is still superior to whatever nonsensical egalitarian worldview Matt can come up with.
Facts.
See, Matt also just acts as though the things he believes are true.
Yeah.
He believes, and therefore acts as though logic is real, math is real. Everything is real based on his presuppositional belief that they are real.
There you go. And that is humanism. Humanism does not have an actual foundation of truth. It is based, just like they want to say about Christianity, right? They believe it, so therefore it's true. Christians, we believe it, therefore it's true. We crazy. Now, this is where Andrew is really going to make this little Teletubby really mad here.
You see, human flourishing, the cornerstone of Matt's ideology and that of secular humanism, is totally meaningless. Flourishing by whose metric?
Exactly.
From my perspective, for instance, attempting to lie to people who claim men can be women isn't human flourishing. From Matt's perspective, it is. Why? Why should the collective of humanity lie and say men can get pregnant? Why should they say that men can have periods? Things which are categorically and obviously false.
Matt put his pen down because at that point he was done with this. Why? He got called out. Just remember, every turn that Matt spoke, he was degrading Christianity, degrading religions, degrading God the entire time. The entire time. Now the tables have turned, and you have somebody willing to stand up into your face and do the same thing you did. Now it's a problem. Now it's a problem.
That preserving homosexuality in society is good for human flourishing, even though they are reproductive dead ends. And that Western society and egalitarianism is superior to those evil theist society, even though the Western nations can't even reproduce their own populations, but instead have to replace their population with foreigners from those theist nations that can reproduce. Let's start with a basic societal question recently asked of the West, who has now embraced a scientific and non-theistic approach to governing. Super basic question every kindergartner knows. If you don't believe me, go watch Kindergarten Cop. The question posed to the Western nation is, can a man be a woman? All right? To the question of if a man can be a woman, they say the answer is yes. And the way we will decree they can be a woman is by simply saying that woman now means male. Problem solved.
Brain damage. These people have brain damage. You want to talk about logic and intellect and all that stuff, right, Matt? That's your basis. Science, provability. Prove to me a man can have a baby. Matt, prove it. You can't. Because that's intellectually stupid to think that a man can have a baby. But you believe it, so it must be true. I believe, Matt, that you should lose weight. I believe you should start going to the gym. I believe that if you don't, high cholesterol and heart problems will be your future. And I can scientifically prove that to you. You know what you will say? I like being this. I like being this big. It feels pretty good. So what if my heart gives out? I like living this way.
Thank you, secular humanist.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Nope, not kidding. Why, you ask, would people be this over the top stupid? Well, it's simple. The good is the good, man.
Yeah.
We have to do what's good for human society and human flourishing. And if you don't call these deranged lunatics something they obviously aren't, they might self-terminate. So in order to avoid that, we need to make everybody on planet Earth lie to them.
There you go. Facts. Right. He is so stinking mad right now. He is so mad. This might be the biggest, most exercise he's had in a long time. This moving back and forth might be the most activity his body has seen in the last year. The amount of rage and heat in his body is enough to boil off half the fat on his body. And I'm kind of happy that Andrew Wilson is giving him this, because this might be the only activity he'll ever see for the rest of his life. He mad. Like mad.
This is human flourishing. Just redefine shit, pretend it's true. How laughably absurd this worldview is. Matt will often say, I remain unconvinced. Well, Matt, I'm also going to use your standard. I need for you to 100% convince me beyond a shadow of a doubt that males can have babies.
Can't do that, which is why now he's all up in his feels.
What's the answer going to be? No, Andrew, you big stupid. Males can't have babies. Men can have babies, because we just defined man to include females, dummy. Well, Matt, I remain unconvinced. I'd like Matt to convince me that if you are a male and you are having sex with another male, which would not be allowed in my version of a secular humanist worldview, how is it that you're not just basically having sex with a guy with a wig on? I really want to know the answer to that question. Not just me, but all rational people who aren't lunatics also want to know why "it's ma'am" isn't a complete and total crock of garbage.
That's my favorite line in the whole thing. It's ma'am. You see, when I tell you that he got this dude way fired up, you wait till you see this. Wait till you see the end.
Because I remain unconvinced that it isn't a total lie, and that
he picks up his phone to text something.
These people don't just pervert the language to include their own perversions and then add human flourishing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Matt has said he wouldn't make a law stopping 9-year-olds from having sex with each other. Not kidding. Now, I know this is going to sound a little bit totalitarian, but I would in fact create laws that made it a crime for a 9-year-old to have sex with their 9-year-old. I would hold the parents criminally liable for allowing this to happen in my evil authoritarian society, where I don't even let 9-year-olds have sex, or the parents go straight to jail for negligence. Now, I think that's better for human flourishing. I think maybe parents would be far less likely to let their 9-year-olds do that if they went to jail. Stupid me.
Stupid me. Stupid me. Now, Matt went on to his own podcast to clarify his statements about the 9-year-old thing. And I want to let you know that his clarification made it 10 times worse. We're not going to get into his clarification, but you can go to his channel and find it. I guarantee you, when you hear his breakdown of what the debate, when you hear it, the amount of the copium is real with him. When you hear it, it did nothing to make anybody else join his bandwagon. In fact, it made you laugh at him all the more, because his worldview is so discombobulated from reality and honestly intellectual capacity. You look at him and think, how did you make it out of kindergarten? Like you remember when they were putting shapes into these how did you make it past that? Did you have somebody else do it for you? Because it seems to me like you couldn't even make it out of a wet paper bag, bro.
Next, I would, in my authoritarian society, decree that all simulated sex acts in public were criminal offenses and would make sure that all people went to prison for the crime of indecency,
Yes.
which doesn't assist with human flourishing. And I'd like to know why I'm wrong. Secular humanism can basically be whatever the hell you want it.
Facts.
It doesn't really need the principle of freedom or the starting axiom of freedom and peace in order to postulate whatever it wants. It's sloganeering. They're slogans.
That's all it
They
is.
don't mean anything. Okay, why do 9-year-olds need to be able to have sex in order to advance humanity? Why do we need to lie about a person's sex in order to advance humanity? Why are these things necessary for human flourishing? Why are decency laws bad? Why would Christian ethics stop flourishing when the theist mandate is to reproduce, and the secular mandate is let's just all have sex and have fun, bro? That sounds way worse for human flourishing. In fact, I would say not reproducing is the worst possible thing for human flourishing, because if there's no humans, how do you flourish?
Thank you.
So I guess, in essence, step one, I remain unconvinced. Step two, I need to be convinced, so I am no longer unconvinced. And step three, but God not real dough doesn't matter here. I've already granted it to still demonstrate just how stupid this ideology actually is. With that, I'll yield my time, and I'm happy to get into it.
Now, please remember this. Please remember, in Matt's argument, he went in first. He was the one that hurled insults everywhere about someone's ideology. Do not forget that. Please remember that he's the one that went into every possible crevice of religion and insulted it. Two, he's also the one that brought the sexual things into the conversation, namely through Mike Johnson, right? He brought the gay this and the gay that. He brought the whole idea of sexuality on the table. All Andrew did was use the foundation he put down and let him have his own medicine. Now, here you get to see what Matt was doing on his phone and what happened to his emotional state while Andrew was talking.
Hey, James, I just sent you a message.
All right. We are going to kick it into an open discussion. So 50 minutes and let's kick it.
No, I don't think so. I'm not going to sit here and dignify the preparation that I went through and what people were here for.
You're so indignant.
Keep interrupting me.
I am.
Okay.
You're so indignant.
Would the moderator like to step in so that I can finish what I'm saying?
Oh, put your little gay hands away, you little faggy. Put your hands away. Oh, would somebody let it interrupt? Stop your little homosexual behavior, bro. At every turn you talk, you prove yourself to be what we think you are. A creep. Now you're complaining that the person ain't stepping in. All the time you were dogging God out, dogging Christianity, dogging Christians. You went in on a whole tirade about them. You get a taste of your own medicine. All of a sudden, your little gay behind want to act like I didn't do nothing. Step in and protect me. Protect me. He's hurting my feels. Oh, he hit me in my fat spot. Stop him. You stupid idiot. You brain dead buffoon. If you can dish it, man up. I know it's a difficult concept because you don't know what a man is. Man up. You went in first. Now when it's reciprocated, all of a sudden you got problems and you want to talk about your feelings and your hand and wrist going limp and you want somebody to come step in the middle for you. Nick, bro, come on. Come on, man. Now you're interrupting me?
Please, Matt. Please. How dare someone have an opposing worldview?
I'm not
Thank
going
you.
to sit here and dignify what was supposed to be a debate about Christianity versus secular humanism.
While you were insulting Christianity, and the instant he insults secular humanism, it's a problem. Pick a standard, bro. Pick a standard.
And which one's better for the world?
Yes.
With someone who clearly showed up with an agenda that has nothing to do with that.
But that's his whole point is to be on that agenda. That's his agenda. You did the same thing. You showed up with your agenda, and your agenda was to decry Christianity. And you did that. And you went in on Christianity, and you debased it, and you called it all kinds of names. You called Christians all kind of crazy. You called them national. You went in on them, didn't you not? Yes, you did? Huh. You even inferred that Christians don't want children to report properly about getting abused because we like it. You said that. But when Andrew says something about your Holy Grail, that's the problem? Okay.
Someone who refers to trans people as deranged lunatics who will self-terminate if you
yes they are
dare to question them.
Yes, that's what they do. The suicide rate among the people that call themselves transgender, and just in teens, okay, nearly 25 or 30% of them who call themselves that go ahead and kill themselves. Another 20% have attempted, and the rest aren't satisfied with who they are. So yes, they do self-terminate. At an exponential rate, they self-terminate. All because you don't accept them. Now, hear me out. You don't accept you, but you want me to accept something you just come up with. I'm not going to. But if you are that tied to your viewpoint of yourself, you shouldn't need my approval. You should be fine on your own. But no, everything you're doing is hinged on my approval of you. And the instant you do that, you give somebody else the power over you, which makes you mentally unwell.
How am I wrong, Matt?
Someone who misrepresents a quote from a debate where I said I wouldn't make a law about 9-year-olds having sex being legal with respect to the 9-year-olds, not that I was in any way in favor of it and that I was actually opposed to it, which I addressed during that debate.
Then you wouldn't need to say the stupid stuff you said. If you would say you would not make a law, he is not wrong in his assessment of what you said. You said it. You just admitted you said it. See where you wouldn't go? Andrew would. He would make a law because he actually cares about the 9-year-old. The reason you're not going to make the law, regardless of what comes after, is because you don't want that law there. You want to be able to talk to a 9-year-old about sexual things. That's you, Matt Dillahunty. You want to be able to talk to 9-year-olds about sexual things. And I can infer from that any level of pedophilic ideas I want to, because no rational thinking man would ever want to talk to a child about sex, ever, for any reason. Never.
But moreover, this is not remotely an honest interaction on the front of whether or not secular humanism is valuable. Because this, when he presented his position here, has nothing to do with secular humanism.
But he mentioned it every time. What are you talking about? Okay, please tell us what you mean.
From the get-go, it's all about me. Matt thing.
Because you're the idiot proposing it. You are the one proposing it. You see, unlike me, where I called you a Teletubby, overweight, stupid, unhinged, retarded, all those terms which I stand by 100%, he didn't do that. He said the stance that you possess is a stupid stance. Did he ever call you an idiot? No. Did he call your viewpoint stupid? Yes. So he is addressing the topic, you moron.
Matt thinks. I'm giving what Matt thinks. What Matt thinks. What Matt
Matt's
thinks.
position.
What Matt
It's
thinks.
Matt's position.
I
It's Matt's
came in
position.
with the Secular Humanist Manifesto. I came in with positions that aren't
They're your
just
positions.
that aren't merely my positions.
Oh, well, as long as multiple people hold the position, it
This
makes it
guy's
valid.
not serious, and I'm leaving. James, if you want a refund, you
Well,
let me know.
good day, sir. And
love-
I'll cover your refund.
This is the part of Andrew I absolutely love. Why? Because I would do this in a heartbeat.
Interaction on the front of whether or not secular humanism is valuable. Because this, when he presented his position here, has nothing to do with secular humanism. From the get-go, it's all about me. Matt thinks. I'm giving what Matt thinks. What Matt thinks. What Matt
Matt's
thinks.
position.
What Matt
It's
thinks.
Matt's position.
I
It's Matt's
came in
position.
with the Secular Humanist Manifesto. I came in with positions that aren't
They're your
just
positions.
that aren't merely my positions.
Oh, well, as long as multiple people hold the position, it
This
makes it
guy's
valid.
not serious, and I'm leaving. James, if you want a refund, you
Well,
let me know.
good day, sir. And I'll cover your refund, Mr.
Cool.
Matt.
He just said he'd cover my
I
refund.
would cover his refund.
No.
They always run.
Nope.
Always run. Like a girl, they always run. Always.
No, I'm not going to dignify a debate with someone who walked in to trash talk people and be.
You literally trash talked all Christians. What are you talking about? You spent 25 minutes trash talking people who have a different religious and worldview than you. You, Matt, did that. You dogged everybody who thinks a certain way that you don't think. You dogged them out. You called them all kinds of names, bro. But when it comes back to you, get the same energy back, all of a sudden, your little sissy behind want to run.
Smug, and all of the things that he's being right now.
Your little gay hands. Watch him, watch him.
Cover my expenses. You don't have anything to worry about. This debate is over. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jackass.
Did you call me a jackass, Matt? Well, you and your husband have a good day, Matt.
You and your husband have a good day, Matt. Now, remember, again, Matt's parting salvo was a J.A., right? He called him a Jack, right? All that Wilson said was, you and your husband have a good day. Listen to the response.
Have a wonderful day, Matt. Yeah. No, that was fine. I mean, if you're going to take a parting shot, I will too, Matt. Yeah.
I think it's my parting shot's correct.
No, your parting shot's correct.
And that was the debate. When I tell you, this was one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. And no, he does not have a husband, people. He's been divorced for a while now. But the parting shot was very much appropriate because I'm 100% on board in believing that Matt Dillahunty is indeed in the closet homosexual. I have no doubt in my mind that dude is somebody else's bottom. I have no doubt about that. All the mannerisms, all of the way he talks, everything, the emotion, all of it, he gay. Matt gay. Matt got divorced because he gay. That's just me. That's what I believe. And since I'm going to take the humanistic approach and say what I believe is true, he gay. He gay. And if he ain't gay, he weird because he wants little kids to know about sex. He very weird for that. Very, very weird for that. You see, Matt's problem is this. Matt grew up just like everybody else in church. And Matt saw things in life that he could not make sense of because all he went to church to do was to learn how to go to church. Matt didn't go to church to learn about God. He went to church to learn how to go to church all the time and be a church goer. And when life hits you as a church goer, things start to fall apart. And the first person you blame is this entity that the church people say is God. That is what his problem is. Matt grew up in a household that showed him how to be a good church goer. And that's what made him Christian. And when he went out into the world, joined the military and all that stuff, life hit him at 100 miles an hour, and he was not prepared for it. So the first thing that set in was anger that he was not prepped for it. And he did blame his parents. I have no doubt he's blamed his parents for that. He's blamed his upbringing for that. And so what he struck out to do was to try and find a way to negate how he grew up, find a brand new way of thinking that fit what he saw, and ran with that. So now he hates God, even though he's never met him. He hates Christianity, even though he never lived it. And he hates the church because what he saw of it was a lie. Those are the hardest people to find God because they have already made up their minds. Again, he may still, I highly doubt it, but he may still. But that's why he is the way he is. The entirety of his talk was to push sex. Open, free, abundant sex. Because in his mind, that is his aphrodisiac, that's his cure, that's the fix. That's the fix. Because we can be honest here, we're adults, right? We're adults. Unlike most drugs, sex is the one thing that comes into play that satisfies more than most. Because you're born with the drive. You're not born with cocaine in your blood. Not everyone. Some kids are. You're not born with alcohol in your blood, even though some kids are. But puberty hits everybody. That urge hits everybody. It's a natural part of reproduction. So by nature, you're drawn to it. Now, you can use it both effectually and ineffectually. Matt decided that it was his way out of Christian upbringing. The best rebellion is to use the thing that is natural to you and use it as your new God. This is why he's so hell-bent on making sure every type of sexual orientation is accepted. It is his out. It's his aphrodisiac. It's his drug. And it is a very powerful drug. Having been addicted to it, it's a strong drug. It is one of the strongest, and this is just me saying this. You can talk to psychiatrists all you want. I don't even think that the strongest narcotic can equal sex in addiction. Sexual addiction will bring you back to somebody beating the brakes off of you. Yeah. Sexual addiction will be heightened by drugs. This is why these people push what they push. They're addicted to it. They're addicted to the thought of it. They're addicted to the mindset. They're addicted to the outcome. They're addicted to all of it, which is why there's such a massive push for that to be the number one thing. Accept my sexual orientation, not my worldview, my sexual orientation. You have preachers doing the same thing now. I got to find a whole different sermon to preach to people who's used to getting some. TD Jakes, if you're gay, find a church that thinks the way you think and worship there. Why? They are a strong, strong drug. People use drugs to enhance sex. It's a crazy thing. A reprobate mind is one that wants nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the ways of God. They have handed themselves over completely to everything anti-God, kind of like Matt. Now, whether Matt got there on his own or God handed him over, I don't know, but he's there. He's there. It is a complete affront to God. Matt's biggest issue is not that he's an atheist. Matt's issue is that he knows there's a God and he hates him. Matt doesn't believe there's no God. He doesn't believe that at all. Because if he did believe that, he would not be talking about him. You would have to be an absolute retard to think you can talk about something that doesn't exist as though it does exist and hate it. You know it exists, and that's why you hate him. You know it. You know he's there. You just hate him. Every atheist knows that God exists. They are just in a position where they hate him for existing. There's no one on earth that really believes there is no God. They all know there is a God. They're just varying degrees of not following. Some don't follow because they don't want to, and some don't follow because they hate him. But they all know. I keep asking every atheist and every person this question, and I have yet to get an answer. So maybe somebody who is an atheist watching the end of this program might answer me. Explain the I to me, please. That's all I want you to do. From a human standpoint, explain the I. I don't care which I, human I, spider I, frog I, just I. Explain the I. That's the one question I bring to everyone who doesn't believe in God. Explain the I to me. Because they can't. They can't. For all our endeavors in looking into human this and human that, the two things you can't explain to me is the brain and the eyes. You can't explain to me how every individual is so varied in behavior when we all possess a brain. But you can't explain the brain. You can't explain the why. You can show me the how, and that it is, but you can't tell me the why. Why is that? Just tell me how. Explain the function. I want the most brilliant brain surgeon to break it down to stupid for me and explain me the brain. I don't you need to tell me what you've observed about the brain. I don't want that. Tell me, what is the brain? Just break it down for me. Not what you observed. Tell me about the brain. Not what you observe about the eye. Tell me how it does it. Don't tell me that it does it. Tell me how. That's all. I think those are simple questions, since science knows everything. Just tell me how. See, I have an answer for how. God. See, easy answer. God made it. Boom. You, on the other hand, since there is no God, please tell me how. Matt can't answer that because no humanistic explanation has ever been able to tell us. No years of study. All the calculations in the world simply use what they observe, not what they know of origin. They just use what they observe and run with that. They have no aspect of why. They just have the how and the that, not the why. I have the why. Christians have the why. And they hate that. They hate that they have an answer for something they don't. And that we have the answer in such great degree that we are willing to forego all of human life for that answer. They are mad that we are content in our belief in God so much that we're willing to let go of the human for the godly. That really angers them because they're seeing in real time that their viewpoint is not needed. Their worldview isn't needed by a few people, and they hate that. I got news for you, people. Keep disliking it. If you're right, we don't lose anything. If we're right, you are screwed. So the one that's most dangerous isn't my view, it's yours. If I die and you say nothing's happening after a death, I'm fine. I didn't have any damage done to me. I was just living a nice life. Ain't no nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I didn't do a few things on earth. Oh, well. However, if I am right and you decide to just do what you want, I think your version is way more damaging to people than mine is. You forsake a few things here on earth, and I've seen plenty happy Christians, but I've seen way more disgruntled and upset humanists. Choose you this day, people. Choose you this day. I do have a prayer request for those of you who pray to the God. Life here is a little bit testing. I'm not pissed at God or anything like that. Don't get that. But I am under a little bit of a stressor emotionally with what's health issues, not with me. So I want y'all to just pray for peace over the whole situation, please. Because it is somewhat of a concern for me. I am a little bit of a, it's a quandary, so we're trying to figure it out. And I will converse with the person to let them know if anything should be shared more than that, but that's all I can say for now. Just hoping that all the tests and all that stuff reveals nothing big. Let's just put it like that. So hopefully it'll just be something that can be easily fixed, easily adjusted, easily addressed. So yeah. In any case, that's why I wasn't here Wednesday with either Savage Patriots or anything. I haven't been online really much at all because I've been just going to deal with what's going on here. So next week, I don't know how that's going to go. I'm praying that the situation kind of resolves a little bit more so I can have a little more freedom. But for now, my attentions are in-house. So if you don't see a show up Monday, it more than likely means that because I have stuff going on that I need to address here. Yeah. Anyway, scrolling at the bottom. You guys know what to do. We're almost into March. Don't forget the end of the month I'm leaving to go down to see Mom. And even that is kind of, I guess you could call it a stressor. Because if things here are not where I want them to be or would like to see them, that'll be another thing I have to be torn between, so it's, yeah, anyway. Yeah, but Savage will be on today. We're not going to tackle anything necessarily new today. We were going to talk about the files, the Epstein files, but it was a nothing burger. Instead, we are going to discuss a reaction to, we're going to give a reaction to a election day meltdown by a certain group of Black people, Roland Martin being the head of it, because there's another topic I want to get into that I think is necessarily, we need to talk about, okay? So just keep your eye out for that. This is going to be on later today, 6:30, Savage Patriots. Scrolling at the bottom, you know what to do. Wisdom calls to you from the streets, so please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on your